The meeting. The world of Nerithus was one of two extremes: endless polluted skies and oceans that swallowed continents. There were cities built into mountains, floating fortresses in the air, and underground caverns where only the most daring ventured. Among these worlds was Nirella, a realm of power and beauty, home to the untouchable. Nirella's people, the Etherians, were superior in every way. Their mastery over technology and biology had turned them into beings of perfection, untouched by time. They lived without illness, without hunger, without pain. They could manipulate the very fabric of existence, bending light, gravity, and energy to their whims. But even in a world of perfection, something darker stirred. Kraskar was a creature of the abyss, a being made of muscle, claws, and a heart that beat only for hunger. He had existed for centuries, locked away beneath the planet's surface, a monster of legend feared by every living creature. His hunger was insatiable, and it consumed him, shaping his existence. He was built for one thing and one thing alone: to devour. For ages, he had been waiting for something to break the monotony, to fill the void within him. And he had found it. The Etherians, the untouchable. He had long watched them from the shadows, studying their flawless existence, yearning to see what it was that made them so invulnerable, so perfect. The day would come when his hunger would take a new form. Part 2. The vulnerability. It was said that there was only one being among the Etherians who was not untouchable. Her name was Saren, and she was an anomaly, a mortal. She was a scientist, a mind far too curious for her own good, one who had ventured into the forbidden realms of Etherian biology and unlocked a secret no one else had dared to discover. She was human, a flaw in the flawless system of Nirella. Saren had always known she wasn't like the others. While the Etherians reveled in their perfection, she felt the creeping weight of mortality in her veins. She was no longer content with her place. She had learned too much. She sought to transcend, to become something more, to rid herself of her humanity. But the path she was walking was dangerous. In her experiments, she had unknowingly made a pact with an ancient, forgotten god, the creature known as Kraskar. Saren had been tracking strange energy fluctuations deep in the caverns when she stumbled upon a hidden chamber. It was there that she found the sealed door, ancient runes carved into the stone, and something far darker than she had ever imagined. She opened it, driven by her thirst for knowledge and power, and unleashed the monster that had been waiting for centuries. Kraskar's first steps into the world above were thunderous, shaking the ground as he emerged from the darkness. His eyes were like black holes, endless and empty, his massive form towering over the city's ancient walls. The Etherians, ever proud, believed themselves invulnerable to any creature, any force. But Kraskar was not just any creature. He was a hunger made flesh, and nothing, not even their perfection, could stop him. As he approached the city, Saren stood at the edge, trembling in awe and fear. She had unleashed him. She had given him the chance to feast, to devour the perfect Etherians. But she hadn't counted on one thing: her own vulnerability, her mortality. Part 3. The monster's hunger. Kraskar's presence was a curse upon the world. Wherever he went, he left nothing behind but destruction. The cities he touched crumbled, and the people who attempted to stop him fell with ease. His hunger was endless, a force that would not be sated until everything had been consumed. He was a plague upon the untouched. Yet amidst all the destruction, his eyes kept finding her, Saren. She had come to him not with fear, but with wonder, with a strange respect. While others ran, hid, and fought, she stood firm, as though drawn to the darkness within him. Kraskar couldn't understand it. She was mortal, fragile. She should have been terrified. But Saren wasn't afraid. She was intrigued. She had spent her life studying the Etherian psyche, the perfect systems they had built, but never had she encountered a being like Kraskar. His mind was primal, driven by hunger, but there was something else there, a depth she couldn't quite grasp. Kraskar's hunger reached out to her, as it always had to those weaker than him. But for the first time he hesitated. There was a moment of silence as he looked down at the woman standing before him, unbroken and unafraid. "Why?" Kraskar's voice was a growl, deep and rumbling. "Why do you not cower before me, human?" Saren met his gaze. "Because I am not afraid of death." Her words hung in the air like a challenge. Kraskar studied her, puzzled by the strange mix of defiance and curiosity in her eyes. She was vulnerable. She could die. Yet she stood there, unflinching. "You should be," he rumbled. "I should be," Saren agreed. "But I am not. You are a monster, Kraskar. But I think you're more than that. I think you've been locked away for so long that you've forgotten what it means to truly live." Kraskar's mind recoiled. What was this? Was it possible that this fragile human was offering him something other than fear? He had consumed worlds before, cities, species, but this was something new. "I don't need your pity," Kraskar growled. "I'm not offering pity," Saren said. "I'm offering understanding." The creature faltered. His hunger, which had once driven him to consume anything in his path, faltered. The vulnerability before him was a challenge he had never encountered. "You are untouchable," Kraskar murmured. "But I am a monster, and I have nothing but hunger." "You have a heart," Saren said softly. "And even monsters have something they yearn for." Part 4. The Transformation. In the days that followed, Kraskar found himself drawn to Saren, despite his hunger, despite the darkness that consumed him. They talked, if only for brief moments, and in those moments, the lines between predator and prey blurred. He began to realize that his hunger wasn't just for flesh, it was for something more, something deeper. Saren, in turn, began to understand Kraskar's pain. He was not just a creature of destruction. He was a being locked in a cycle of suffering. The moment he consumed, the hunger would never end. But in that cycle he had forgotten how to live. But their relationship could not last. Saren's mortality was her curse, and Kraskar's hunger would always call to him. They were two beings from different worlds, fated to destroy each other. In the end, it was Saren who made the choice. As Kraskar's hunger surged one final time, she stepped forward, placing her hand on his massive chest. Her life force would be the last thing he consumed. "Live, Kraskar," she whispered. "You've tasted the hunger. Now learn what it means to feel." With a final roar, Kraskar's hunger surged through him. He devoured, but as he did, something within him changed. The hunger that had always driven him to madness began to ebb away. He would never be untouchable, never free of his past, but he would live for the first time in his existence. Saren's last breath was the catalyst for that change. Kraskar, the monster of the abyss, stood in silence as the world around him burned. But for the first time he felt the hunger retreat. And in that moment he understood. Even monsters could change.